It just keeps getting more interesting and interesting. We have literally rental assistance. People are about to be on the streets, and stimulus checks have still not arrived. We're talking about the third stimulus check for $1,400 to equate to the $2,000 that has been promised since last year. What is up, you guys? My name is Drew Romeo with Freedom Nation, here with another stimulus update. I want to go ahead and give you guys exactly what you've been needing. Just the facts, no fluff around it, and exactly what my thoughts are about what's about to happen. So, as of late, if you guys don't know, the Republicans have actually proposed a plan which was $600 billion, which is 25%, literally 25% of what Biden initially asked for. I don't think that's nearly enough money, so we're going to take a look at some of the articles here that what they had to say. So it looks like the Senate is literally split down 50-50, but the good thing is that they're considering doing reconciliation, which I think they're going to go down that path with this bill. And they're trying their best to make this a bipartisan thing. And this is what Biden is saying, along with Bernie Sanders and a few others. If they're unable to come to terms within a logical time frame, they're going to go ahead and move forward because they have the ability to do so right now, given that Democrats have a slim majority within the actual Congress. So I just want to let you guys know that. So if there is anything that I think will pass, would be the bill. There may be some changes, but definitely checks will be signed. And I do believe that it's going to be really soon. If it's not going to happen this week, which I really do hope so, they're really planning to move things along very quickly this week. So I'll keep you guys updated with that. Now, before we dive in 100% with stimulus checks, I want to dive in a little bit about the housing situation that I think a lot of people have been forgetting. Maybe not those in the actual situation, but like right now, Biden's stimulus plan can save millions of struggling Americans. And I want to show you guys this article really quickly. And the struggle that they're facing is literally talking about how the rent that has been paused from last year is going to be due, and it's going to lead to mass evictions if something is not done about it. So people who are wondering, is Biden's plan worth it? Is this something that we need to approve? Is this something that really is needed? Well, let you know, the people who are struggling right now are people who are risking eviction right now. And I think it's something to really think about, especially for those of you guys who are against the stimulus plan. The plan has built into it renter's assistance, and it has money set aside from Joe Biden, which we will see here in just a second. And before we do so, I want to bring something to your attention. Last recession that we had in 2008, 2012, there was a ridiculous amount of people who were facing foreclosures. It was up to the numbers of 7 million. That took 5 years to happen. Now this time around, only a few months, we are seeing about 10 million Americans who are probably going to face evictions if we don't do something about this really soon. So you can see this here, that again, approximately 7 million, and I'm going to zoom in so we can all see this, 7 million homeowners lost their homes to foreclosure during the darkest 5 years of global financial crises in 2008, 2012. And here we have 10 million people, renters, facing a similar matter or a similar fate over a matter of months. To me, this is definitely something that we need to keep on the table to understand, right? So President Joe Biden has included an additional $30 billion of assistance to low-income renters and $5 billion to help relieve the strain of homelessness in the proposed $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan. So, which is why I say that if you guys are against the plan, you're also going against the people who are going to be suffering from not being able to pay their rent. And for those who lost their jobs last year, who are unable to pay their rent since then, the back rent is also due. And the back rent is astronomical numbers. I believe it's around 35 billion. So if we're looking at actual numbers, let's give you a little bit of perspective here of what's going on. Even with this relief, let's say everything does pass. However, we still have about 6.8 million delinquent renters who owe an estimated $35 billion in back rent, utilities, late payments, and penalties. This is significant because this is going to be a stress on our economy, which will only get worse as the virus continues to run rampant literally in our economy. That's really closing down businesses. People are unable to get jobs again. And if this continues without any type of break, this will literally break the economy and go, hopefully not, but further past a recession that we've seen in recent years. So we know what has to be done, which is passing this American Recovery Act, right? But the problem is there's a lot of pushback coming on still within the Congress. If you guys haven't seen Biden speak on it, he's willing to move forward along with a lot of other Democrats to move forward without bipartisan support. A lot of conversations around if he does that, he's literally going to poison the well for any future bills that need to be passed by starting out without bipartisan support, meaning literally forcing his way through to pass this bill. But what do you want somebody to do when literally the economy is on fire right now and literally about to explode? If you don't pass this bill in order to keep things at bay, you're going to see levels of like literally economic destruction that we've never seen before. Sounds dramatic, I know when I say it, but honestly, if you look at back in history when things literally got to a point of breaking and nothing was done about it, things just broke, literally. So instead of reaching that point of no return, let us pass something that's going to keep things abreast, which is give people their $1,400 stimulus check. People have been waiting patiently. Let people get their dependence checks as well, because those who have children, those who have students, or who have dependent adults, those people need support as well. Let alone the renters and also the business owners who needs those EIDL loans and the PPP loans in order for them to open up their businesses again so they can pay employees to come back to their job. And now let's talk about some more stimulus updates, guys. Back to the stimulus check. If you guys don't know, the Republicans have literally written out a proposal in order to see if they can reduce that 1.9, let's say $2 trillion stimulus plan from Biden and bring it down to somewhere around 25%, which is about $600 billion instead. And this is where things get a little funny. They are really a fan of not handing everything to everyone who just seemingly is eligible. They want to really narrow things down a bit so people who actually need it can get it. And the way that they're deciding to do that is by saying that people who make a certain amount of money tend to just stash it away and save it, and people who make X amount of dollars actually need it and use it right away, and to service those first. And so that number that that's ringing around quite a bit is people who make $75,000 or less are going to be eligible, right, for the full stimulus check amount, and those who make more, either nothing at all or maybe a throttled or a changed number, like a number that literally reflects, like you can, instead of $1,400 you might get $1,100 or $1,000, which I've heard that number floated around quite a bit. So how do you guys feel about that? First, let me know down in the comment section. Do you think $1,400 is even enough to keep you guys afloat, or is $1,000 enough, which they're proposing on their end? And let me know what your thoughts are below. And because this is really something serious that can change quite a bit, it's less than the initial very first stimulus check that was handed out for $1,200. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I really want to know. Direct coronavirus relief payments need to be more targeted than the previous direct payments, and it says above a certain income level, that money's not spent. Doesn't stimulate the economy, he said. So money that, based on a certain income level, people are not spending the cash, and people under a certain income level are literally spending the cash immediately because obviously they need it, right? And this comes from literally Representative Cassidy. So coming down here to what House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says, the House will bring a budget resolution to the floor next week for Biden's $1.9 trillion relief package. The first step, right, in advancing a bill through the reconciliation process. For those of you guys who don't know what the reconciliation process is, it's simply this. Normally they would need a majority vote in order for things to pass, which is a supermajority, which is 60 votes in order for it to pass. But when you reconcile something inside of Congress, what happens is all you need is a general majority, meaning 51 votes as opposed to 60 votes. And this, in my opinion, is a good thing, right? There may be some proposed changes, but it doesn't mean that they will go through, right? So even if they say they want $600 billion to be spent instead of 1.9, Biden has made clear that he's standing firm on his $1.9 trillion plan because he wants the families to actually receive the $2,000 stimulus check, which is the $1,400 difference from the $600 that was sent out in December and January. So if you have any questions about that, about the reconciliation, let me know in the comments. I'll be loving to chiming in and answer any questions I can. But that's what that pretty much is. And so I for one am for the reconciliation because I think it's going to go down that route anyway. Biden this week is going to see if it can get passed as is, but most likely there will be pushback, as we said, from the Republican side with their proposal. They obviously want way less money to be spent on this stimulus package and want people to receive less and have that money go directly to people who direly need it. So, and I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's also omitting the people who are also feeling the pinch above that $75,000 a year mark as well. So, in speaking about the reconciliation, here's a quick quote from this article here. This is from Fox Business. It says, the Senate will then need to vote to adopt the resolution. It says budget reconciliation requires only a simple majority to pass, as opposed to the 60 votes needed for most legislation. Democrats hold a majority in the House and the Senate is even, but Democrats have an effective majority because Vice President Kamala Harris has the tie-breaking vote. So if it does come down to an even 50-50 split, Kamala Harris has that tie-breaking vote, which will come in handy if they're trying to pass legislation that's going to benefit the economy, such as the American Act that Joe Biden is trying to pass. And here's a quote from Nancy Pelosi. She says, "I hope we don't need it, but if needed, we will have it." Pelosi told reporters, and this was Thursday, "We want it to be bipartisan always, but we can't surrender." And this was made clear again by Biden and his team. So this week, do you think that this will pass? Well, let's take a look here from another article where Bernie Sanders is actually speaking, and speaking some truth in my opinion. So from Bernie Sanders, the chairman of the Senate Budget Committee, he said on Sunday that there appears to be enough votes, right, to pass a new round of COVID-19 relief using a process called reconciliation, and he agrees that there will be enough votes in order for this to pass. So which is why I believe this week we will be seeing some magic happening. And for those of you guys who want to stay tuned, now's a good time. If you're liking what you're seeing, go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe to this channel so you'll know exactly when we have updates. So Sanders continues with his quote, "All of us has differences of opinions. This is a $1.9 trillion bill," said Sanders. "I have differences and concerns about the bill, but at the end of the day, we are going to support the President of the United States." And so that's his stance on it. As we know, he's going to do everything in his power to pass this bill as well. Barring judgments around the next round of stimulus would include a mean-based check, which is the average base check being about $1,400 for each person that qualifies. Now, what is that qualification? We'll find out more details about what the Republicans propose literally tomorrow on Monday. It says unemployment benefits would also be extended at their current levels for months with a target of September previously rumored. Okay. Also additional benefits, if you guys don't know, for those of you guys who are wondering about unemployment and also talking about renters assistance, we'll have more videos touching on that. But in regards to renters assistance, if you know that they have the mark or the deadline date that's due by March for renters to pay back what they owe. And so for those who don't know, they've been only pushing the goal line further and further, just allowing some time for policymakers to pass on some bills that's going to help them to be able to even catch up with rent or to be able to catch up with basic needs. And so this $1,400 check is literally the most prioritized item on the list that Biden needs to get signed off in order for things to literally make sense for the rest of the economy, in order for it to recover properly. So with that being said, if you guys have anything else that you find interesting, any interesting articles that you find you want to cover, let me know down below in the comment section. I really want to know your thoughts. I know there's a lot of people hurting out there, and I'm with you guys. I'm going to try to keep you guys updated and not just giving you stimulus check updates, but also giving you videos that's going to be showing you how you can also create income on the side as a hustle, or even making it your main gig. For those of you guys who are currently working, you can do this as well. And those of you who don't have a job currently, how you can produce income from home as well, just using your computer online and finding lucrative ways to do that. I'm with you. I understand this is a very tough time, but please stick around. I really would love for you to subscribe, and so you guys can keep up with anything we do have coming on. We're called Freedom Nation for a reason. I'd love to have you a part of the family. We have plenty of ways that you can make money online, and people and guests that we'll be bringing on to show you these things: investing, personal finance, how to take charge of your life in that area, so that way you can live free, which is why we're called Freedom Nation. So without further ado, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.